Okay, it says we're on air, so apologize for anyone who was tuning in. We started a little bit late. There was some technical difficulties with room control, but that's been resolved by your advanced technical support on-off on a computer. Usually works really well. So this is the August 7th Cemetery Trustees meeting. All of our trustees are present this evening. Our two alternates are not here. And in the audience, we have Doug Finnan. Thank you. The first item is sign the light bill. Is there a light bill to be signed? Cool. And you have two deeds, you said, Joyce? Okay.
Did you print the budget?
I printed last year's budget. I did print that. And it's in the packet that I prepared for everyone. So if we wanted to later review that, I do have that in the packet.
The monthly one?
I don't have that one. I don't have access to that, actually. And two deeds. What are the names on the deeds, Skip?
Yeah. We have two. One is for us and one is for the,
So this is Stevens. Yeah, of course. It's usually his. And this is Stevens as well. I just had someone ask me today how they go about purchasing a lot. Told them to go to the website, and Joyce's number and contact info is there. Okay. And then Joyce just went to print the current budget. So in your packet, that's for later on. I do have a copy of the last year's, the 2025 budget, but that's for later in the meeting on the agenda. Joyce just went to print out the current budget. While she's doing that, if you would review the July 10th minutes. Thanks. And again, just so you know, we had voted last time to include the correspondence from Laura Hasher from the Historical Society and the Exeter chapter of the Daughters of the American Revolution, thanking Joyce for the support on the grave cleaning project. So that's included as correspondence in the minutes. And at some point, I'll take a motion to accept the minutes, or if anybody has any corrections to make.
okay, let's see.
Okay, so
Second?
motion Jillian, second Skip. All in favor? Aye. So we accept the minutes as printed. Guess we'll just now go back to the review the current budget. Just so everyone knows, this looks like this is through the month of July. So essentially, where you look way on the right where it says percent left, if you're on course with your budget, there's 5 months left in the year, which is 42%. So we're showing at 40.3. Anything, Joyce, that you can think of that look?
Weeks wise,
Yeah.
you should be at about 40%
Okay.
with the amount of weeks left.
Then we're right on.
We are right on the money.
Okay. And I see that we have very little left in maintenance, but again, I don't think we'll have to worry about that. If we do go over that line, we'll have excess from the retirement. So I'm not going to be concerned about going negative on that line. The only thing, and I guess we can get to this when we talk about the plaque. We don't have money in that budget for a plaque, and I guess what we can do is I guess I'll go to the select board and ask how they want to do this. I mean, either we can do it in this and we're going to blow our total budget for the year, which it's however they want to do it. But I guess I'll summarize what we talk about this evening on the plaque and go to the next select board meeting and ask them for permission to expend the money to get that done. And
So typically, if we have something like this come up, we would not pay for it out of this budget.
right,
We would use the capital reserve general cemetery maintenance fund budget, and we can get to that. That's why I gave you guys. the
oh,
handout.
perfect.
So yeah, this is just for what you see here for land maintenance,
That's-
is the flowers, the
Yeah,
street,
yeah.
the flag.
Perfect.
So this doesn't. So
And like I
they
said, I
look at
figured
it
we'd
and
get
go,
to that
"Hey,
because I wasn't
that's
sure if that had to be used for Tonry or not, or if it could be any of them.
So the capital reserve fund that we can use, you can expend both income and principal. The way it's worded is may use it for other cemeteries.
Perfect.
So
Okay.
we as a board can vote whether or not, so we've had trees taken down in other cemeteries, we've used that fund, and nobody's blatted an eye.
So you need a motion to expend those monies out of that fund?
So what happens is that we just decide that the job will be done. We
Okay.
go ahead and do it. We do, I guess, yeah, we would. And then what will happen is we'll get an invoice. I will give that to the trustees of the trust with our vote that we did this, and they will go to Three Bearing and they'll say, hey, this was done. We need to pay for it out of this account. It's been done before.
Thank you.
Trees.
Excellent.
And only because, and I know the select board was really supportive, when we started this last year and said that they would take care of that. I just know they have other things going on right now with, expenditures and that if we can do it this way, I think we're better off doing this on our own.
Okay.
It's not that much money, considering we have, but I think we're better off doing that out of our reserve fund if we can do it.
I think it's a good reason to expend
Yeah,
the money.
absolutely. Yes, it's a perfect, yes. And like I said, I know ordinarily we'd say, well, they kind of promised us that, and why not save some of our money to use for other things in our cemeteries? But given what's going on, I think we are probably better off just doing this on our own and get it done now. So
Agreed.
I
we
agree.
voted last meeting to expend up to,
It was in
right.
the minute.
3095. Yeah.
And I do believe that we don't even need to go to the select board now. We can just vote it. In fact, we could do a motion
Anything under
now.
5,000.
Yeah, I think we can make a motion now to have it done. And we have, and Joyce, I think you did the right thing. You did get another quote. It was higher.
Wow.
And that we had another one that just didn't respond. So I think we have absolutely, Joyce has done the due diligence of at least trying to get at least 3 quotes to get this done.
So the capital reserve fund, the general cemetery maintenance fund, as of July 31st, we can expend both the income and the principal, and it is in the packet that I gave you. It's page 8 of 9. We have 17,448.38. I did just sell another 8 lots, which is what you just sold, so that's another 3,200 that will go for it. So we have, legally, we can use it in another cemetery. It's a municipal cemetery. We can use it for that. I don't see why there's no reason why we can't.
So
You
Superintendent,
guys say yes.
you think it's a good idea, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So
Keeps us out of the
I
fire.
kind of agree, I agree with that. And I think where we had heard from Doug that it's good to get it done before it gets too cold, that we just vote it tonight and then we basically can tell them, let's do this. And
Do you think we would still be able to get it in before October if we voted in tonight?
Bronze usually takes, once you place the order, it takes about 4 to 6 weeks once you do the final approval on the rendition, 4 to 6 weeks. In between that time, sandblasters contacted, and we may go out and sandblast prior to, usually it's the day of. And once we receive the bronze, within a week, we can have this. Time-wise, we're still good temperature-wise. Once we get into October,
Mm.
Mm.
we've got hitting some going on over here. More importantly, the temperature plays a substantial role in
Mm.
for the piece of
So would that be Richard, Rick? Okay. I have those emails, so we can like put something together and send it.
So can I make a motion that Joyce and Jim contact, what's the name of the place?
Mortensen Dufresne.
Mortensen Dufresne, and see if we can get this project expedited, and we would pay for it out of the general cemetery fund. Right?
Yep.
Is that everything?
Perfect.
Okay.
You've done this before.
from memory, we did make note that because of the type of material we were using different font at the top is a little more difficult.
Mm.
Thought we could not place the font. And so he suggested a larger letter at the top and removing the name.
yeah, yeah, and I'll just read it for everybody. What we got from Richard, it just said, he sent us the revised proof, which is what Joyce printed out, and you have it in front of you. It just says space is tight. Most other fonts did not fit well. I can check with the bronze company for suggestions. Not all fonts are available for bronze plaques, and it did increase the size of the line slightly. So you have it in front of you. I think it looks, I personally think it looks really good. He did correct the abandoned typo that Skip had picked up last time. So I think the motion was from Jillian to have Joyce and myself contact Mortensen and Dufresne to basically tell them to please, let's do this, expedite this and get it done. And you said we would fund it via our CR fund to pay for that. And you seconded it?
Yeah.
So all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, none? Great. So, yeah, Joyce, however you want to do this, either you can call them or if you want to send an email, however, I mean,
So is this proof what we want to go with? Because I have that email in front of me. If this is the proof that we want, do we see any changes, any thoughts? This is exactly what we want.
The question I have is, these are double letters, are these going to be filled in with, or what? Is the,
Will it look more like what this is versus what? Font?
Yeah,
The font.
The font.
Font, what you're looking at is
So they're gonna be double letter, double,
Or will the font look more like what's on this?
or you're gonna be filled in between those
well,
lines?
this is a different size font. than the that he's, what I'll do is I'll give you the size of the letter.
Could he send us an example of what that font looks like in real, like on a real bronze? Shoot us a picture. Yeah, if we can get a picture of it, then we can approve.
When you say double letter, I'm not.
Well, see, these, the space between the letters,
Yeah.
it's a double letter. Are these gonna be filled in, is it gonna be a solid letter, or is it gonna be?
It will give you that effect.
Yeah, I can show you that.
So what I'm saying is, that I'm just asking,
I'm sorry.
is, okay, let's say this is the T, that's where we have, but when that
Is it, well,
gonna be filled in?
is the bronze engraved or is it raised? At least let,
Raised letter.
yes,
And,
it's raised, Skip.
letter, you see the contrast of the brown and the brushed bronze? That's called brushed
So,
bronze. All around the perimeter, and those
So what-
letters are brushed
It's a
bronze.
different font, but that's kind of how it will look.
Skip,
That is a different.
But it will look like that.
so, yeah, it's not double lettered, Skip.
It'd be one thick letter.
It's
rather
raised.
than-
Right, it's like a colored in.
Yeah.
No,
It'd be colored in, it will not look like this,
it's raised.
it'll look like this.
I'm,
As long as you understand, it's not colored in.
Yes, but it is,
It looks like that,
it looks like a
but
simple.
a different font.
Yeah,
Yes.
It looks like that, but a different font.
exactly,
It's a raised letter.
yeah.
It's a,
Okay.
yeah, Skip, it's raised. The
Right.
letter is raised above
Yeah.
the background of the bronze. Yeah, it's not an engraving. And that's what I want to make sure you're clear. So it's not an engraving where you fill, like that's a white,
Yeah.
it's filled. The letter is actually raised
Yeah, I
above.
get it, yeah.
And like it shows here, so it'll show up as a shiny bronze to like a darker background.
Good.
That's why these letters show as thick. You were saying double, it's really not a double, it's thick because
Yeah.
it's raised up above the surface.
Yeah.
So you don't need a filling because it's actually raised and it's a different color, yeah.
It will not look exactly like.
No, it'll be raised up.
Okay. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Cool.
Now we lost Doug.
Oh, yeah. And Joyce, thanks for the info on the CR. That's really good because that's really good because now
Yeah.
we can just proceed right now. You and I, you can just get this done.
Yep, so this is what we want.
Absolutely.
Fantastic.
Now,
So,
do we have to?
I know she said both of us. If you need me, you let me know. I
Okay.
mean, because
I'll
We-
type something up and we can just,
Yeah,
we'll work it out.
Do we have to respond to this fella?
no.
I'll take care of that.
Yeah.
Yep.
And thank you, Joyce, for getting the quotes and done. Thank you so
Yeah.
much. It's-
Okay. Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Yep, thank you, Doug.
Thank you.
I guess that's it on budget. So we actually, so good minutes. Next is the perpetual care.
So I just wanted to let you guys know how we made out with the flowers, because we did something different this year. It's like 50-50. Some of them did really well, and they're doing okay. They're not huge. And some of them didn't make it at all because it's really dry.
Oh,
So I think it was a great experiment to try. I will say that I put petunias, the wave petunias, which you don't have to deadhead, in front of the War Memorial. Those things went crazy. They look amazing. So we'll bring it up in the spring. I
Okay.
think that trying different flowers, I mean, I appreciate the geraniums, but a lot of them have, unless you're there every day watering, they just die out by June, July. But I think if we can do like maybe petunias, it looked amazing. You
excellent.
know, I'll bring it up in the spring again to see what we've got out there.
Yeah, what was the new one called that we tried? Wasn't there a
Like a
special
sun
name?
patient,
Sun patient.
SUN patient.
And you're saying those didn't do that good? Anyways, it was an experiment.
It was 50-50.
But yeah, it wasn't what we
Yeah.
thought they might be some really great thing, but
Yeah, and
Yeah,
apparently
okay.
something is eating them. They're not supposed to be eaten, but somebody is eating them.
Oops.
Like, well, I planted lettuce.
Not me.
If it's a chipmunk problem, you can talk to my wife.
There you
But
go.
I'm not going to say it on an open microphone like this. So general cemetery maintenance fund transfer. Okay, so that would be, the next item is the financials. Brought up the maintenance fund transfer and the flower account.
Yep. So I figured what I would do is give you the guys the really quick abbreviated version of what I do for the state. And that's the packet that has this page on the front. It says preview. Did you get one? Okay. When I go to the state, we all kind of say the same thing. I bring a little bit of a different flavor. And this is more for people who are at home and want to know how does the cemetery budget work, because we're into that season. We have our operating budget, which is what we've already looked at. That's what we get every month from Jillian's office. It's done by taxes. It's used for our incidental stuff, the grass seed, the hoses, the wages, tools, training, that kind of stuff. And it becomes a budget line item. Then we have the perpetual care funds. That's money, as we all know. People buy a lot, they put extra money in to maintain that lot. It's usually for mowing and flowers and some other work. It's basically to keep the lots looking great, and it does require us working with the trustees of trust. Again, it's those worksheets that we hand into them. And then it is the capital reserve funds. That's from the sale of the right to inter. The money is used for infrastructure for all the cemeteries, and we're allowed to use it in all the cemeteries. We've used it for tree removal, paving, seal coating, etc. And again, as I just said before, we create an invoice that we voted on to do. We hand the invoice to the trustees of the trust, and then the invoice is paid that way. Like, they work with the fiduciary. So our plaque will be paid that way. I'll hand them the invoice, and they will create all that paperwork. So the rest of what I handed you, which is all this, has to do with our perpetual care. That which is outlined in red is the principal. We cannot touch that. That is not for us to even look at. That which is kind of outlined in green is the income. That's the only thing we can spend. And that's usually for the flowers and the mowing. When it comes down to it, for Tonry, if we want to do Cypre, that's the only cemetery we can use. So if you look at page 4 of 9, you'll see it says on the bottom, total perpetual care for Tonry. I highlighted it in kind of a lime green. Go to your right, under income. I can't see it very well. It's 109,057.61. That's our ending balance for our income. This sheet that we got today that has through July 31st, the numbers under income expended, it's 1144. There's a few that are a little off, but 1144, that's for our mowing. That's the mowing from last year because we were delayed on handing everything in. I'm waiting, the trustees of trust are meeting within the next couple of weeks. Hopefully we'll be handing in our flower accounts. That will then show up, the 1144 plus the flower account amount will show up in income expended, and we'll have a different amount, so probably our income will be a little lower. The state told me wait until you get everything from last year, which is here, the flowers from this year, which will be soon, and then let them know what that amount is, and we can move forward with the Cypre. It's changed a little bit. When I first started it, they talked about making separate accounts, and we could use it. The thought now is that they will go to court for us and go to bat for us and say, this town has been keeping really good records. Even when they missed a year, they've kept good records. They would like to be able to use the income not only to pay for the flowers and perpetual care, but say they have paving, which we do. They're going to get their 3 quotes. They're going to bring it. We're going to pick one. They'd like to be able to allow us to use that extra income to pay for our paving. But we've got some hoops to jump through, which we've got a lot of it already done. I'm just waiting for final numbers.
Would a shed be covered? Remember we had talked about better shed? Do you think that could be covered under that?
For Tonry only.
For Tonry, right?
Yeah, we can't put anything else. I don't know if a shed would work. It would be something that I think that if we have questions on, they usually do big infrastructure, trees, paving, irrigation. They might go for a shed. It's, if it's considered.
Anyways, we know it's
infrastructure.
limited to Tonry.
Right.
And then do they approve a certain amount of it, or the whole amount that suddenly says yes, you may use this for the maintenance of Tonry, because today we can only use it for,
Only for Tonry, always only for Tonry.
right, but
I don't know how that's going to work. That might
Okay.
be something that internally we have to talk to the trustees of the trust and the board and ourselves and say, we never want it to go to zero.
right,
We always want to make sure there's enough in there to cover all of our expenses, and I
Right,
have
right.
all those graphs and everything.
right.
It's just working with them to kind of figure out, yeah, I don't know if they'll put a limit, and we might have to be self-limiting. Because what will happen is once we're out of lots in Tonry, we're not going to have that income anymore.
Right.
But we'll still have money in there so that if we need to take a tree down, that money will be there to do it.
And the reason that the other trust funds are not involved in this, for the other cemeteries, is because in our proposal, we just asked for the Tonry cypre.
So we can't do it for Lad, we can't do it for Thing, we can't do it for Tuck because they're considered private. They're not municipal cemeteries. It has to be a municipal
Okay,
cemetery only.
All right. That was the key.
That was the key. That was the big stumbling block way back when. Like, why can't we use all of it? And then the last page that I just wanted to show you.
Just came to me. Now we have the town cemetery, which is a municipal cemetery.
But it doesn't have perpetual care in it.
Okay.
So we can't do anything for them.
Okay.
Sorry, guys. And then the last page is the snapshot that I request probably quarterly or anytime I do sale of lots. It will show you, basically it reflects what the General Cemetery Maintenance Fund has in it. You'll see that there's a sale of lots and it has the names attached to them. Thank you, Jillian. And we can see that all the monies that have come in have actually made it into that account. Jillian and I worked through it and we realized that there's one missing and we've corrected that.
And this is the account that the plaque comes out of.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yep. And that's also on the colorful pages. That is page 8 of 9.
Yeah, at the back.
Yep. And that total, we can actually use the total of sum and income, and that's the 17,448 that we can take it out of.
Right.
It's very complicated.
Well, yeah, as we kind of explained to Elaine last time, it's interesting that if you look, we must have 80%, more than 80% of the accounts that the town has for these CRs, because each one of them is each one of those perpetual cares is treated as an individual account.
Yeah.
Has to be managed individually. It's
Yep.
huge.
And there's one in Ladd, it's Jackson and York, that they, for some reason, don't make enough income, so every now and then the town has to cover the cost.
Will we get official notification from the state that that cypre is in effect, or how does that work? Does that have to be voted by the legislature or something?
So what will happen is I'm working on it. I've worked with the DOJ a little bit and talked to them. Once I have all the paperwork together, I'll bring it to you guys. I want to do a joint meeting actually with, it has to come from the trustees of trust. So it would be us meeting with the trustees of trust. We'll go through everything, make sure we're clear on what's happening. I think then we have to get the select board to run it through legal. And then we send the whole package up to charitable trust unit and they go through it and they're the ones that bring it to the probate court for us and kind of dot I's and cross T's.
It'll be a judgment by the probate court.
Yes,
That's quite the process.
it is quite the process. And other towns have done it. The problem is that some of the towns that have done it did not keep good paperwork. So there's been a couple hiccups and that's why it's really important for us. We have years of good paperwork. Which will look
Did the
good in the end.
trustee of the trust fund, does Julie know about this? Yeah.
She doesn't know how far along we are. I have kind of clued her in on it, but she knows it's in the works and it just keeps getting tabled because something else comes up. They've had change of leadership up there and every time they change leadership, they change their thoughts.
Well, you've been very busy. Much appreciated.
Yep. Okay. Next is the Poor Farm. Any update? I know you're laughing.
Yeah. It's on a circle right now. So New Hampshire Land Surveyor said doing a survey is super easy. Depending on who that survey goes to is the hard part. I think we're at a point where we need some legal advice on how to do it. I've talked to a couple people. I talked to a gentleman, I think it was from Londonderry, who is their GIS, who does the GIS maps for them. And I asked him about how to do this, because we have a new assessor apparently. And she's like, I have no idea what you're doing. So she turned me on to him. And he said the same thing. He said, I think it's a legal question. I think you've got all your ducks close enough that maybe sitting down with the board and saying, look, we would like to talk to legal and let them know this is what we're trying to do. The survey's easy peasy. They just go out, shoot some lines, and they're done. I think it's who gets the survey and how that's recorded. It could be amendment on a deed. We may have to go back to the original surveyor and ask him, can you put this on your survey? And then how do we get it into deeds? There's that one piece, I don't know how to do it, and I think it's a legal question, and
Yeah, I mean, I know I don't have any experience. I mean, and the fact that it was not legally deeded or defined anywhere as a cemetery, it was discovered afterwards, right? So it's,
yeah.
I know we declared it an abandoned cemetery and it's now a
Yep.
town cemetery, but the fact is it really isn't on a deed anywhere as even existing as a cemetery. So, and I don't think, like, we belong to NHMA, but I think if I summarize this and try to go to NHMA to get a legal opinion on this, I think they're going to tell me this is like, okay, this is really above and beyond the simple advice that they give
Yeah.
to us for as part of being a member. I think we're going to need some, like a real estate or someone who's involved with deeds, property deeds, to really give us, you know, how do we get this done? How do we get it surveyed is one thing, but then how do we get the deeds updated?
Right.
That property
Is
deeds
there
can be.
anybody at like the Registry of Deeds that can help us out? Are they worth
And I
a
thought about
phone
even
call?
a land surveyor. I mean, there must, but that's who we're going through, New Hampshire land surveyors, is trying to see if they're basically said it's, the survey itself is easy. We can come do that. It's getting the title and the fee title and the deed and the GIS.
So if they do the survey, would they give us a package or something that shows us where it is on the current, I just didn't know if that would help us going to legal to say, hey, this is where the state told us, this is where the cemetery was, but we're now, and this is, we actually have it, you know, the actual surveyed lot where it is, the size and everything, but we
Right.
need to legally get it updated on, well, it's gonna be one person's deed to show now that that cemetery, that's no longer private property, it's now a separate
It's a deed.
cemetery lot.
Yeah.
That's
And that
there.
was, I think, the toss-up between, do we just put an amendment on George's
Yeah, I don't-
deed? Or do we have to create our own deed
Yeah,
that
that-
says, because Tonry has its own deed.
Right.
So do we have to create our own that says, this is the town, and I don't want George to flip out that we're not really taking it, but we're just assuming responsibility for this little piece of land. I don't know how VZ is listed. I should look that one up. If it's just under a town, you know, if it's titled to town or deeded to town, or if it's just attached to someone's deed, I don't know.
Yeah, and I have no idea.
I think I mean, I can ask New Hampshire land surveyors, can you just come out and do a survey and give me points? Because then at least if we have points, because GIS seemed to say, hey, I think if we have real survey points, we can put it on a GIS map.
Which would be, at least that's part of what we want done.
Right.
That's the first, I think that's part of what we want done. So that would be a really good thing.
Yeah,
And then maybe somehow we figure out, how do we get, like you said, I don't know. I don't know if it's just the current property, that lot, the deed just gets updated to say that there's a cemetery on the land, you know?
Yeah.
And because I think there are properties in town that have cemeteries on the property. It's not like that the little cemetery is a separate lot. It's part of a parcel. It's just defined in that parcel that there's a cemetery there. So like you can't, there's, you know, restrictions about doing anything on it, but
I think there's two that I know of that have exceptions on them, and they list the cemetery. All the rest are just kind of out there, and they're under the name of the town.
right.
And there's no deed, there's no title, they're just there.
Right.
And is that
At
what
least
you-
on the GIS, that's how it is. I
Right.
did that, I went through, remember I started going through that list?
Yeah.
Of seeing how many were actually already listed on the GIS, and every one of them that I found where it said owner, it showed Town of Brentwood.
Right.
Like, to me, if we got that done, that's the success, right?
To survey it, yeah. I think land surveyor's thing is they don't mind doing the survey, they just don't know who to give it to. You know what I mean? Like, they give it to the town, but is it for George's land? Is it
Yeah.
for Brentwood land?
Yeah, and see, I don't even know who we asked that question to. Like, I don't know if Mark or some, like, but we've been to them and they seem to not know, and it's
Nobody
such a
seems to know.
weird situation.
That's why I wondered if we have an in with legal, if I can,
I could try to do a basic summary and send it to NHMA. It can't hurt. I
what they
mean,
say.
if they say, look, this is outside our scope, you need to seek your own counsel or something, well, but at least I'll try and see, or maybe they can point us to who would do this, just basically.
yeah, if
I'll-
somebody else must
Okay,
have done it.
I'll take that. I'll
Okay.
send a summary to NHMA.
And if they can't, if they know someone who could. And if not, so Jillian, that might be a question for you. If we want to talk to legal, do we need to come to the select board and let them know this is what we want to do? Or can we just come into Andrea and say, hey, we have a question? If we summarize it, which Jim will do, can we have this passed off to legal?
I would start with Andrea.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Okay. I would say check out with NHMA, and if they kind of go, maybe run it then to Andrea as well.
Yeah, why don't I try NHMA
Okay.
and see where that goes? They usually are pretty responsive within a couple of days, and then whatever they say, I can take that to Andrea and say, look,
Okay.
this is what they say we need to do, or they don't know, and I need to get a
Right.
legal, we need to talk to our legal, someone in legal to
Legal.
tell us what to do.
Yeah.
But I'll have it summarized already in a
Perfect.
piece of paper, so
Yep.
I'll do that.
Perfect.
Just a quick Google search, just so you know, says to contact your registry of deeds to get it recorded. Just throwing that out,
To get the survey recorded?
to get it added to your property. Like if you found a cemetery and you need it added to the deed, contact the registry of deeds, probably with the survey. It's worth a shot.
Because, I mean, that's, so maybe, because what happens, I would think that means we get it surveyed, and the current landowners, that deed gets updated with something that says there is a cemetery located at whatever these surveyors come up with, the
It would be an
the
amendment.
delineation. So, I mean, and then that goes on the GIS. That goes on the GIS. But
So that might be the question to throw to NHMA is like, we have this rediscovered cemetery.
right,
It's on a property. We've declared it abandoned.
right.
It's ours. Do we call registry of deed and say, hey, we have a rediscovered thing on this property? Does it go on their deed, or do we have to make
A new,
a new deed? And I think that's what New Hampshire
Right.
Land Survey was saying, you need to figure out. Yeah, I mean, do we do an amendment to George, or do we have to make our own?
Right.
okay, that's what I'll ask NHMA. That's what I will ask NHMA.
And I can contact the registry of deeds, because I know Stacy well enough, I mean,
Okay,
to
well,
ask
I'll
them.
say, so I'll say you'll check with the registry of deeds.
Yeah.
first, okay.
And that will show up on the tax map, the next tax map.
yeah, they do tax
Yes.
maps in April, so we've got plenty of time to kind of sort it, but I do want to keep it moving. Shouldn't be this hard.
Well, as you know, again, when you're paving the way with something that's really odd, it gets difficult because,
You haven't heard of anything like this, have you? New.
right.
Of course it is. Okay,
So between the two of us, we'll get something.
we'll sort it out. Yeah. Okay,
We're-
and the final cleanup of plantings, I don't know that we're ready to do that yet because it's still too hot.
Agreed.
Fall. In the quote, we already did the marker. We're done with the marker.
Yep.
The new town cemetery. The only update I have is that I know that Rob Wolfchuck has started discussions with the chair of the select board regarding getting all of that work done, so that by the end of the year, the land will be donated to the town of Brentwood. And I think what we had kind of discussed is once that happens, then we formulate our plan of getting the select board to notify the town of Kingston with our intent. And that he did tell me that the deed it's all being done, that the primary purpose of the gift to the town is for a future cemetery. If for some reason it can't be a cemetery, there's other provisions in there to keep it as conservation land or something like that. So, so I know he just updated me. I saw him. I talked yesterday.
Good.
So, and it's good. I think they need to go through the select board at this point, not us, because again, we don't have budget to fund that activity, and it's really a town donation. And so he's working that with the select board. Did you have anything else on that?
I'm good.
Okay. Wreaths Across America?
Saturday, December 13th. The theme is Keep Moving Forward. Given that we're doing budgets and everything, I'm thinking that I might try to push up my fundraising I usually do it right after Halloween, but I think I might try to do it sooner. I just want to get a feel from you guys what you think of that. I know that today was Purple Heart Day, and I actually had thought about putting together a quick post next week to say, hey, we just had Purple Heart Day, and by the way, here's our Wreaths Across America. I don't have any figures. I don't know where we're at. I think we did have carryover from last year. I don't know how close to goal we are, but I figured I'd let you guys know that I'm thinking about moving it up, because I think after Halloween, it's Thanksgiving and Christmas, and I don't want people to feel that pinch, especially with taxes coming.
Whatever's convenient for you, that's.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay. Cool.
Okay. So now we're at any other business? And you mind taking it out of order? If we do the budget prep first? Because I think that'll be really quick, and then we can talk about whatever we want on those the other two documents to be reviewed. I did print out last year's, well, actually it's the 2025. This is the approved budget we have for this year. And I haven't been asked yet about when the budget committee wants to have this turned in. But it would be probably in middle of September would be the first go around. We're just doing site walks now.
Didn't the board say September 11th?
I haven't, the select board?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, but I haven't heard anything official from anybody on when. And ours really isn't that complicated. So and usually what I would be looking for is on obviously all of the non-labor parts of like anything that we thought, like I know the $1,000 seems really low. I don't know if that this year when we go in, we had always asked for 2,000 as long as, and I've been here 3 years, it was always $2,000, I believe. And they did lower it last year. So I didn't know if we wanted to try to put that back. I know this year, it looks like we're going to spend almost all of it. We're close now, right?
Right.
There's 7% left.
Yeah, so we probably will go over maybe. It all depends on the cleaner, right? Yeah, I think.
Yeah. So I know that there's going to be a lot of changes in our budget because I'm not taking retirement, so all that is going to come out.
Why-
Retirement.
We should leave that at $1.
Right, exactly.
right.
We have to have a placeholder, but
Couldn't we just reallocate that money to land maintenance?
so here's
try
the
to.
thought. I am going to give you another year. I will tell you that I'm going to stay here for another year. I don't know if it would be this summer. I don't think it's that next summer is the time to do it because it's just, although if you guys tell me, yeah, now is the time. As far as hiring my replacement, not that I want to do that, but that comes closer to being a possibility. I like to do what Bob Gilbert did with me. He hired me in as his assistant, and that was part of the budget so that when we do budgeting, it would be not just me, but it would also have to be my assistant. And I don't know, I'd have to go back and see what I was paid. Because once I took over, then I got whatever his wages were when he was superintendent. I don't know if for this year, we just want to say, nope, it's good. And then not next summer, but the summer after, say, okay, that's the summer Joyce is going to be training a new person.
I mean, I think that is amazingly generous that you do that. I think that's a
Yeah.
really good idea because,
Very smart.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be really beneficial for the town, especially for us, the trustees, but for the town as well, that
Yep.
we would be fortunate enough to have someone who has all of the knowledge and experience of doing this, training the
Pass it
person
on.
who's going to take their place. Yeah, passing
Please.
it on.
Yeah.
And I think really, I would say, I mean, I'm retired. It's pretty nice. I will be honest with you. It's really nice. But I mean, and we will greatly miss you. But if this is something you're thinking about in this next year, I do like the thought of we budget something in here where we're giving some sort of small amount to the person who is being trained to take your place, and we do that. But if you're saying that it won't be until the following year, then we wait.
I'd like to wait the following year. I've really had to sit and think about this, that I don't think this is the year, or maybe it is the year, because we could use some of that retirement money, the retirement line, and just say, look, we're going to actually, we kind of do how our wage line looks, because we want to be able to pay somebody else to help and be trained. I don't know.
Yeah, and
I just worry that
I know
we
what you're
take
saying.
out
If
that
we do
money.
it this year, right? We could say, oh, well, we're going to take that money, because if you looked at the bottom line budget, we could probably with the same budget
Mhm.
train somebody or whatever, like have somebody be trained. I mean, again, I'll just have my cemetery trustee hat on and resident hat, no other hat, and say it's not going to be. And if you look at a budget of $6.8 million, the amount of money that we're going to be talking about is really, really small
Right.
and insignificant. And I believe if it's next year and not this year,
Mhm.
whatever, again, I think this is what you want to do. I want you to do what you want to do. And if you want to do it this year, okay, we'll do it. And you know what? It'll make it a little easier in the budget. You want to wait and do this next year? I have no problem. I will still be here next year,
Okay.
unless I don't get reelected, but I don't think that'll happen. And then I'll come here and be really loud. But I don't think we're going to have a problem next year, even if we have to bump up our budget and say, yeah, that's because we have 1 year where we're training someone because the superintendent is going to leave, and she's been gracious enough to train her replacement. The fire department is doing it right now.
Yep.
And it's way more expensive what they're doing. Like, it's just because it's much more expensive. It's a full-time position, but
Right.
this is a part-time thing. So
Very
I don't think we're going to have a problem. Does that make sense? So all I'm trying to say is, you think about it, or if you know right now that you want to do this next year, I say we do the next year's budget. Don't worry about this year's budget.
I think in my head, I can't do training with someone next year. It's too soon. I want to stay for another year.
Right.
And just be me. And I think that way will give me time to actually kind of look around. That'll give us time to feel around and be like, is there someone, it doesn't even have to be from Brentwood, but is there someone,
Yeah.
you know, anybody who would be possibly willing to do
Right.
this job? Then we can go into next year's budget
Correct.
and say, hey, we've got someone that we think we want to have.
Correct.
We'd like them to train. At the end of the year, if they like it, great. If they don't, that money is still there. You know, it was somebody who helped out. I just don't want to like take out the close to $12,000 from retirement stuff, lower our budget that way
1,200.
because we're not doing retirement anymore this year, and then have to bump up next
No,
year and then be
it's-
like, what's
But
happening?
that's okay. Again, I'm as the chair of the trustees, I would have no problem getting in front of the select board saying next year, hypothetically, hey, you know, we're bringing on someone to learn the job, getting trained, pay, you know, and asking for whatever. If it came out to be $1,200, again,
Right.
this on a at that time, it'll be a $7 million budget by then or more. It's not. they'll support this. The town would support this. I don't think anybody would have a problem with this. I
Okay.
think, and then that would give you actually a whole year next year because by then, when you start training someone, the new cemetery will be on our way. Like, we're
Yeah.
going to get past the hurdle because you'll be here with me to do that and make sure that we have an understanding if it's going to work with the donated land. We got that. That'll all be settled.
Yeah.
And, we'll have plenty of time into the future to plan out what we want to do over there. But I'm just saying you'll be here to help with that part
Yep.
of it. Because
To
if
move
it
things
doesn't work
forward.
out there, we're going to need a backup plan.
Right.
And, you'll be here to help with that.
To
So.
do it. Yeah, I'd like to give you guys another year and not have to
Well,
worry
thank
about
you.
training. I'd like to be able to
I'll
No, no.
take it.
think.
Sold.
Yeah, please. And you understand my point.
Yeah,
Don't base it on this because of the $1,200
Okay.
of the thing. Don't worry about the money part. I think that's a great idea that if you're willing to do that, and God willing, you'll be here to do it. And,
I think the thing would be is when we go in front of the board and you already know it as budget, to say, look, we are reducing our budget or going
Right.
level or using that 1,200 and putting it back into maintenance.
correct.
Oh, by the way, next year it's probably going to go up because
Correct.
we've got some plans, just
Correct.
so you know. And I think it might make us look really good because we're kind of thinking forward,
Absolutely.
just saying. Have you got a feel for what COLA? Are they going to do COLA? No COLA?
I haven't heard anything like that.
Okay.
And I'll put the budget committee hat on. A lot of this has to do with we're doing the site walks, right? We're trying to understand from all of the department heads, what are the big projects that are going to be needed in 2026. It's the
Okay.
first year we're all working under a tax cap now. So once we get a feel for, is there something big that needs to be done? Because we only have so much money that we can increase the appropriations with, right? To
Right.
keep within the cap. That's what we'll be able to figure out how much money we have, what can we afford for salary increases for employees. How the salary increases divvied up is determined by the select board. They usually come up with those amounts. The budget committee would recommend a certain amount of money that could be spent on salary increases based on other projects. You know what I mean? On each budget line, there'll be money left for salary increases, and how they want to do it, they kind of handle that. At least that's how it's historically been done in Brentwood since I've been here.
Okay. So my feeling is we're either going to be flat or we're going to reduce. It could be just that it's flat because we're going to take the retirement and kind of shove it back into land
Right.
maintenance and call it good.
Right,
And then we just have to kind of wait and see what they're going to do about
right.
wage increases.
And I mean, like I said, you remember last year when we presented this, we were actually recognized. Jack said this was by far the best budget presented. It was very clear. It was detailed, and we had all,
Yeah.
so we've always been good about that.
Okay.
But so do you I'm thinking we go back to the 2,000 on that line, and you're right. Obviously, the retirement part is going to be reduced out, but like I said, the salary and benefits part, I kind of already knew what to do with that because some of it we have to wait to hear.
Right.
And in terms of how we did the wages and stipend, that all stays the same. It'll be $1 again. That's the other thing we could do too in the future. If this person comes on, we could kind of come up with a stipend line and just pay them so much on a
Right.
stipend as being trained. We can,
Oh,
we can,
that's a
and we
good
know we
idea.
can discuss that in 2026 when we're preparing the 27 budget. But for the first go around at this point, I don't think on training these things have stayed the same pretty much. And on the electric, I don't think
Oh,
I know there was a rate increase recently, but I think we've been kind of
Ask
ahead on
about
that
that.
anyways.
do you know of any rate increases?
I did just see an electric bill from somebody in town, one of the buildings, and the delivery charge was astronomical.
They just increased, I saw that, I saw it
Astronomical.
advertised I saw something on the news.
Actually, it was the fire department because they didn't have to pay for supply, but the delivery charge was,
Insane. Okay. So we have things that we have to look at further on down the line, which we can't do right now,
Right.
so.
yeah. And actually, now that I think about it, I did hear that they were going to the state and asking for permission to increase costs.
I think they got permission to do it.
I looked it.
But like we're at, we've spent $136 on electricity on a $300 budget. And like I said, I'd have to look back. We may have increased this. Was
We
it
did.
last year?
We did.
Because there was the one year when all the electric rates really went up high.
Yeah.
And I remember I thought we increased this, but now the rates have come down, obviously, since that time. That's why I didn't know if the 300 was still good or not.
So we probably have to research that a little.
Yeah, okay.
As soon as we get our next bill, we might know.
The newspaper said it was gonna go way up again.
Yeah, I think they just voted that, Skip. That's what, I think that's what Jillian was saying, and I think I just heard the same thing.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, so why don't we do that? Why don't we look at this month's bill, because then we can compare the two. And if
Okay.
we see something that looks like it's gone way up, maybe we bump this up a little bit.
Okay.
The other ones seem okay though, right? Like, you
Yeah.
know, okay. I'm just making a note here on electricity. Based on the next bill, we'll make that determination. Okay. Anything else from anybody on this, on the budget? There's really not much on ours, it's pretty simple. Okay, thanks. I did put into the packet, we had talked about this last time, the roles and responsibilities of the superintendent going through. And,
Good piece of work.
well, Joyce had done this, I believe. She had sent me this, whatever it was, last year or something, but we never kind of went through, I don't think we ever really ended up going through it because we spent a lot of time on the rules and regulations. But I did also, and I gave you a copy, the roles and responsibility of the clerk bookkeeper, that you gave me that piece of paper. I did put it into a Word format. Again, at this point, that one, since we have it as a combined role, really isn't all that important. Like, we don't really need to update that, I don't think, unless at this time somebody thinks that there's a reason to do that, right? Because we have a superintendent who does both of these roles for us. We don't have a clerk bookkeeper.
You need to add the first line related to the
Yep.
John and VC Cemetery. Do we have to add now the town Poor Farm Cemetery?
Yep.
Yep, that's a really good one, yes, yep. Yeah, really good, Skip, that's for number one. There were no others, there's no other ones that got added to the other cemeteries, was there? Like where it says Ladville, is there?
We do those because they have perpetual care or we have just responsibility in them. All
But
the
n-
other private ones, we really don't, I mean, we kind of have good stewardship with them, but we
Right.
don't really have responsibility
Right.
for them. We put flags out, but that's
What-
about it.
The one that's on South Road, just before you get to 125, the Quaker is hidden in the woods on the right, the one that the wall got hit.
Yeah.
Do you want to bring that up?
Oh, about Jackson?
Yeah.
So this gentleman came in today and he was looking for volunteer projects and boards to join. And he's actually a stonemason and he was asking about that cemetery and if there was anything he could do to help fix it up. So I encouraged him to join us tonight, but he had to go to Newcastle. So he's going to join us September 11th.
Okay.
I think that's when we agreed to meet next.
I was
Or-
going to ask for that, yeah. 'cause
Okay.
the
Yep.
7th and 4th.
And he said he would try to make it. I also mentioned to him the stone over at the Ladd Cemetery and getting that picked up.
So I did talk to Chief Doty about that stone wall that's down because of the accident. And he just kind of went, I don't even remember the guy's name. And he said he probably should have paid restitution, but nothing came to it. And we both agreed that it's not something to pursue. Just let it ride. If we can find someone who will come and fix the wall and we'll just internally take care of it.
And what's the name of that? What,
Oh, is that the Osgood Rock Kimball?
I'd have to look it
I
up.
don't remember. South Road. Yeah.
It's definitely not the one, we don't have anything in that one, though.
No.
like it's nothing.
It's one that we'd like to get cleaned up, but we just haven't had a chance to get there.
And is that one that we need permission? Is that like, because it's on, is that one that we would have to get permission from someone to go in there and do work or
No,
or not?
right on the road.
Yeah, there's public right away from the road,
Okay.
so we could do it.
Well, that'd be great if he said, because the wall, that's what made me think of it, the wall, and I wondered what happened with that, so
Somebody
nothing.
ran into it.
Yeah, and yeah. And I remember a long time ago, they were gonna supposedly fix it, but guess that didn't happen.
Somebody went and cleaned up a lot of the wood that was in there. There was like a lot of logs in there, and they went and cleaned it up, but
Okay.
Do we have monies, if this fellow wants to do some stonemason work, wouldn't expect him to supply cement and whatever else he might need. Do we have any funds that could be used for?
we could use that general cemetery maintenance fund to do that.
Is it I'm just, again, we're gonna get off track. Is it a private cemetery? It's technically a private
Private.
cemetery, right?
Yep.
Was there anything in this, Joyce, that you noticed that either was out of date or needed to be updated? Like I said, you just did it for us, I think, right? Was it last year that you did this? Because this is relatively new,
It's
this
new,
document,
yeah.
right?
I'd have to go through it
I
again.
mean, because one thing I will do is I'll probably put the letterhead thing on top of it. I will definitely put a date and a version for us, so that we can always have that. So like I
Put the town seal on.
yeah, that just like that, if you look at the top of the.
Yeah, just do the
that
same
one,
header.
Just do the same format and put a version and a date on it.
I might throw something in there. We have orders set out and care for the annual plantings of the common garden, including weeding and watering as needed. It might be nice to put something in there, and I'm not seeing it, but doesn't mean it's not there, to maintain the walkways, because that overgrows really quick if you're not like every week going out pulling weeds out of those walkways. So I can add
So-
that in there.
So maybe like somewhere in here, like number 7 says prune or remove brush, trees as needed. Maybe somewhere in there put maintenance of the, you say the walkways?
Yeah, maintain and maintain, monitor stone walkways. Including, I can type something up and send it to you.
Thank you. And the only other comment I had was at the very end where it says additional expectations, it says assume and carry out the duties and responsibilities of the cemetery clerk as needed. And so now we have the cemetery clerk one. I didn't know how old this document was, or if this made, like if this was okay, or if there were things in there that no longer were valid or relevant, or if there's something that's obviously missing.
We used this when Phyllis was with us
Right.
because she did some of it.
Right.
When I came on board, she happily handed it off to me.
Yeah, no, and that's what I meant by,
But it might be nice to keep it in case
I do,
you
that's,
get to a point
I
where
agree.
you find someone who goes, I am not.
Right, right, like if we ever had to go back to, that's why
Yeah.
we left a line in the budget, right? And
Yep.
then, like I said, this item 6, it does say, assume the duties and responsibilities of the cemetery clerk as needed, right? So we have it in there that the superintendent can do both,
Yeah.
But I just want to make sure if we went back to it, when I read through it, most of it is stuff that we're still doing today. So it seems, it seemed pretty good.
It seems relevant, yeah.
Because then if no one really has any problems with that one, like I said, I'll wait for you to get me some updates on the superintendent roles responsibility, and then I'll just put the same header and the version footer at the bottom of it, and then at our next meeting, we can just kind of approve the documents, and then those will go up on the web. We'll be done with it.
So actually on the bookkeeper, number 7, it says requires coordination with the town road agent and review of daily timesheets of highway department mowers.
That's what I was gonna add. Yeah, I forgot that.
That needs to be changed
Right.
somehow to the mowing company.
Because now we have a contracted mowing company, right?
Yep.
So maybe we just say, and you do that directly, right? You don't go through you don't have anything to do with the highway department, the town.
So I can revise that for you.
Yeah.
So who does all that work with the contracting for the mowing? People, the town, the selectmen
No.
have included the cemetery as part of the mowing contract? Is that
So when the
guy does it all?
contract comes up for review, it's usually with the town administrator. And I think the select board kind of get it, but then if they do put it out to bid, usually Wayne and I will take whoever's looking to bid on it around, but the company that we've had for many years, and basically we just get a hold of them and say, do you want to? And they go, yep, we will, and they don't really go up in price. If they do, it's reflected because of insurance or fuel. We've had them, 3 or 4 contracts now. We've just kept them because honestly, they do a really good job. They don't need to be handheld. They don't need to be micromanaged. There's a few hiccups now and then, but for the most part,
Do they do other work for the town, or is it just cemetery?
they do all the cul-de-sacs. They do the cemeteries. They do the rec. They do around here. They do the library.
Which is what I thought. I thought it was, that's why the town kind of handled the contractor that did the mowing for the town,
Yep.
and that we just interfaced with them on the specific duties that are needed at each of the cemeteries.
Yep.
But so we were kind of utilizing the town's mowing contractor. So does that make sense, Skip? So it's not like we have to go find a contractor.
No, it's the
The
town.
town does it.
Yeah, and it comes out of Wayne's budget, and then it gets repaid by the perpetual care as needed.
Thanks. So yeah, that one line should just, I thought it was the town mowing contractor or something, but. I think that's all I had. That's all that's on the, anyone else have any new items or other business? No? Public comment, Doug, anything? If you do the microphone, just so that it'll be, or yeah, come up here, it doesn't matter.
In review, when Skip was reviewing the plaque, I've been sitting here thinking about it. There's something about that that's not catching his eye properly, I'm guessing, with our discussion. So in the picture you have, Joyce, from the other company, it has upper and lower case, if I'm not mistaken. I'd like Skip to look at that and see if he prefers that, because everything on that plaque that Rick sent you is all uppercase. So I don't know if that will make a difference based on what he's looking at. I believe it's upper and lowercase, but you did have the quote.
Who wants to take a field trip and go look at a plaque?
Me.
Skip, you want to go take a field trip? We can go look at a plaque outside. You want to go take a quick walk?
I did minute on the way out.
Let's do it now. So we
Yeah,
can
go ahead.
You want to go for a walk?
Sure. Yes, Doug, thank you so much for that suggestion, and so by, based on our little field trip and looking at the plaque outside, I think we should make the motion to have the font, where the title at the top where it says Brentwood Poor Farm Cemetery, 1841 to 1868, leave that as it is.
Okay.
But then all the remaining words, we go with lowercase on like upper and lower case, right? That's what I mean, like capital G on God or whatever.
Each
or,
word starts with a capital letter.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Upper and lowercase, right? Yep.
I'll second your motion.
I don't know, can I make motions as a chair? I'm not sure about that, but I can do that. Sure. So I made the motion, second Jillian. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, so Joyce, you'll contact, yeah. Again, Doug, thank you so much. That was a really good suggestion. Anything else from the public? We're good, Doug?
So not every word is going to have a capital letter. It's going to look just like what that is out there.
Right.
Thank you.
But the title will be all caps.
Yep.
Yep,
Okay.
yep, that makes sense.
There's, yeah, like, so the way I say it, it's like, it says here, the H will be capital, lies the remains known to only to, I think God should be capital, the G. And then where the next sentence says in 1999, so the I would be capital. And then it goes on, the sentence ends after was part of the Brentwood Poor Farm, period. Over the years, the O would be capitalized. Over the years, attempts to identify their names and possibly others interred here have been unsuccessful, period. The I would be capitalized at the beginning of the sentence. 2024, following a solemn ceremony, the remains were reinterred at a marked grave in a single coffin. Right? That's what everybody thinks, right?
Sorry, I missed the first part. So Brentwood Poor Farm, all caps.
Yep, all caps.
Here lies remains known only to God. God's capitalized.
G.
And here.
And here is capitalized. Everything else, still large font.
Right. Yep.
Brentwood Poor Farm.
Yep.
Would be capitalized, so.
All caps.
Yep. All caps. She got that. And then just what you said, the H in, yep.
Okay.
H in here, the G in God, and then the I in 1999.
Okay.
And then it goes all the
Okay.
way down until where it says over the years, the O.
Yep.
Well, we do go Brentwood Poor Farm, it'll all be capitalized. I mean,
Brentwood, yep.
first letter.
Yes, Brentwood
Okay.
Poor Farm, BPF.
Yeah,
Thanks, Skip.
and then over.
Over the years. And then in the next sentence, the I in 2024. And that's it. You got that?
Perfect.
Yeah, that, again, thank you, Doug.
Thank you.
Joyce, thank you. Anything else? It is 6:25. Just need a motion to adjourn then.
We're going to meet again on September
Oh,
11th,
I'm
right?
sorry. Yeah, next meeting, Thursday, September 11th. The first Thursday is the 4th, and I'm either away or I have a site walk that.
Yeah, you have something. I don't know.
I think I have a site walk at that time. So is September 11th okay?
Okay.
Okay, so next meeting, Thursday, September 11th.
And I'll
Jill-
make. Oh,
Jillian, can you get this room reserved for that?
yes.
Because you have to be in the building to do that.
Okay. I can do that. And I will make the motion to adjourn.
Skip, second that?
Second and
Okay.
third.
We're adjourned. Thank you, everybody. Have a good night. And we're off.
We were able to get a cemetery